Hey guys, Darren Asbury here with Bravado Outdoors, bringing you an exciting podcast. Tonight we're going to go to the great state of Mississippi. We got Mr. Grant Galloway. He's going to talk to us about Lake Grenada there in Mississippi. It's a lake not a whole lot of people have heard about, but the BFL Mississippi division goes there every year. So very, very excited to talk to Grant. He got a top 5 finish there last year. He's going to give us some insight to the tournament this year and what he did last year and what he predicts. So very excited for that. Before we get started, as always, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you get notified when all of our content is dropping. Also, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. That's going to be Bravado Outdoors. And if you've never heard of Bravado Outdoors, we're a premium CBD company. We make CBD products for all the outdoor enthusiasts. Check us out on our website, www.bravadoutdoors.com. You can see our full lineup of premium CBD products that are THC-free, made right here in America, and you can also purchase right off our website. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go to the great state of Mississippi and bring Grant into our podcast. How you doing this evening, bud?
Hey, man. How's it going?
Doing great, doing great. Well, thank you for coming on to the podcast. Man, let's just get right into it. You know, Lake Grenada, never really heard of it, not really a lake that a lot of people are familiar with. So you've had some good history on that lake. You got a top 5 there last year. I looked up your record on Major League Fishing. So tell us a little bit more about the lake and what makes it so special.
Yeah, well, the glory of Grenada Lake it's a flood control lake, and the water fluctuates every year. You know, when people hear about Grenada Lake, they think crappie fishing, which is great for me and fellow bass anglers because it is absolutely full of bass. The last few, if we have a wet spring, the water levels are high. You know, if it's a dry spring, the water levels are low. Well, the past, I don't know, 5, 6 years, we've had some really high levels, and that's really helped the bass population. It is absolutely full of largemouth bass right now, and it's a great place to bass fish. And the best thing about it is it's under the radar. I mean, it is not messed with.
Okay. So, well, tell us a little bit. Let's just break it down real simply. What kind of structure does it have in that lake? And is it clear water, dirty water? You know, how do the fish relate to the lake a little bit?
The lake's full of standing timber. It has got very, very muddy water. It is a power fisherman's paradise. You can catch them on spinnerbait, crankbait, throwing a big jig. You don't have to worry about line size. I mean, you can absolutely hunt fish with everything you have. It's not, it's not one you have to take carefully. And that's what I love about it is like you can get back to the basics on this. Like you can catch them on a big spinner bait, you can catch them on a big jig, a big worm, a big creature bait. It's a power fisherman's wheelhouse, and that's what's great about it. This year the lake is it's low compared to previous years. The lake hasn't had we haven't had the big wet spring yet that we normally have. Um, we so what that's going to do is it's going to limit accessibility to a lot of areas. But that's going to allow, in theory, you would think low water, the fish are closer together, right? So, I mean, if you're getting bites, that's a great thing. You'll be able to maximize areas and fish them thoroughly. I think a big weight here. I think is 17 to 20 pounds. That's what it's going to take to win, depending on weather conditions. And I say weather conditions because this time of year the weather's so volatile here in North Mississippi. So just depending on how it shakes up, I think it's going to be a great event. Either way, it'll be a fun one for sure.
Okay. Do you think anglers this year? Well, let's talk about in terms of last year. Were you pretty much targeting pre-spawn fish or up fish that were staging, or and how does that translate to this year? What do you think the
Oh,
fish
right, right.
pattern was?
Yeah, so last year I was definitely fishing spawning fish. I found those fish in shallow bays off of a main river. I would find the clear water. I'd find the clear water, and then I say clear water, cleaner water. I feel like that's a big deal. Hard bottom is an even bigger deal. I would throw a spinnerbait and I would get those fish to show themselves. And then, if I didn't catch them on the blade, I would slow down and pitch to them with a plastic and just fish around and get bites. So last year and this year, I believe will be the same way. Is it'll be a spawning deal.
Okay. Okay. So what's a typical big fish in that lake?
Oh, okay. A typical big fish in Grenada is anything over 6, and that's a big, big one. Now 4 pounder carries you a long way here.
Okay. Okay. So you talk about that muddy water, you talk about that spinner bait, maybe a chartreuse blackback crankbait. Just an off the wall question because I did a little research on Grenada. Guys are talking about Alabama rigs, but that muddy water, is that really a factor?
No, no, I don't believe it to be a factor. I tell you one thing that about Grenada, it's very target oriented. So I mean, unlike the Alabama rig when you're just bombing it out there, just covering water. Here, you're going to be throwing at visual stumps, visual laydowns, visual rock if you can find rock, which is great. It's the Alabama rig's not really. That's what I love about it. It's not one of those things.
Okay, okay. So, in terms of just an everyday tournament angler that's going out in Grenada, you know, what kind of rods? You mentioned the spinnerbait and the crankbait again, but it sounds more or less you want to target the targets as well. So maybe something to flip. Would you recommend a jig? Is there any other things that you would recommend that they have on the deck of the boat?
Oh, definitely. If I was gonna go fishing Grenada tomorrow, I would have a spinnerbait, a square bill crankbait, a flipping bait, something like a jig or a creature bait. I'm gonna have something, you know, just something like that. Don't make it too complicated.
Okay,
Fish what's in front of you.
okay. And in terms of a co-angler, what would you recommend a co-angler can bring in?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. A co-angler needs to be able to watch his boater, observe him, see what he's doing that you necessarily might not think's right, and be able to fill him in the gaps. So let's just say if your co-angler is burning, I mean, if your boater's burning down the bank throwing a blade, or he's throwing a
Hmm.
crankbait, you need to have that plastic there, to really see what he's missing. For a co-angler, it's hard to say, and co-anglers that do this, they know what I'm saying. Be able to observe your boater and do something different. Now, if he's absolutely killing it, yeah, throw what he's throwing, but be willing to be open minded and get after it because a lot of times the boaters show you the fish. All you gotta do is catch them.
Right, right. So, okay, well, sounds good. Well, Grant, you've given us a lot of great information and insight to Lake Grenada. I'm going to wish you the best of luck this year, all the anglers in the Mississippi Division. I believe this is going to be stop number 2 for you guys. So, still early in the year,
It
but the
is.
points still matter. The fish are moving up, getting into that spawn time of year. I'm sure a lot of big fish will be weighed in. But before we let you go, we just want to give you the opportunity to thank any of your friends, any of your sponsors, anybody that supports you in your tournament fishing. I know you're a very, very busy angler. Just want to give you the opportunity to thank them and give a shout out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Man, I couldn't do what I do without Midway Marine. They're my title sponsor this year. They supply everybody in North Mississippi with the best boats, equipment, even the fishing tackle. Humminbird, Minn Kota. I'm so blessed to work in this business as well as fishing it, and it's anybody that does this long enough knows that we rely on the people that rely on us, and I'm just thankful to be a part of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, Grant, good luck to you this year, and good luck to all the anglers again to fish in the Mississippi Division. I want to thank you for coming on to our podcast, guys. If you're watching this, be sure you follow Grant Galloway and all the anglers that we've been interviewing these podcasts. They depend on it. These guys are the weekend warriors, are the best of the best. So, be sure to follow them. Also, check us out on Revital Outdoors. That's going to be Instagram and Facebook. Make sure again you follow this podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way, you can see all of our future podcasts. And from all of us at Revital Outdoors, Grant, thank you for coming on this evening. We'll talk to everyone very, very soon. Be safe out there. God bless. And join us on the next podcast.
Thank y'all for having me.